Imagine this. You wake up in darkness, your knees are bent tightly against your chest, your back hurts, your arms are heavy, you cannot stand, you cannot walk, you cannot even stretch. You try to move, but wood surrounds you on every side. Above you, the lid is closed. There is only one small opening, just big enough for your head and your hands to stick out. You feel the air, hot during the day, freezing at night. Your throat is dry, your stomach is empty. You cry for help, but the land is silent. Your arms reach forward, hoping someone will give you water, food, or mercy. But no one comes. This is not a movie. This is not a nightmare. This is real history. This is the story of a woman in Mongolia who was punished in one of the cruelest ways imaginable. She was sentenced to die in a wooden box. Her photograph still exists. Her face, her hair, her desperate hands, captured in a moment of suffering that speaks across centuries. And today, my friends, I will tell you her story. But not only that, as we tell this story, we will also learn powerful English words, phrases, and expressions that will make your vocabulary stronger and your understanding deeper. Because here, on this channel, we do not just learn English, we learn English through stories that touch the heart, so stay until the end. This story is dark, emotional, and unforgettable, but it will give you not only knowledge of history, not only new English words, but also a new way of seeing life, freedom, and resilience. Welcome back, my friends. If this is your first time here, let me tell you how this channel works. We don't just memorize lists of vocabulary, we don't just study grammar in boring ways. Instead, we learn English through stories. Because stories have emotion. Stories have images. Stories stay in your mind, and when you feel a story, when you connect with it emotionally, you remember the words and phrases connected to that story. Today's story is about a woman in Mongolia who was sentenced to die inside a wooden box. Her punishment was cruel, her life was short. But her story teaches us many things, about history, about humanity, and about the value of freedom. In this video, I will tell you her story, in detail, as if we were traveling back in time to witness it. Stop and explain important English words and expressions so you can learn naturally. Show you how to use those words in your own sentences. Share lessons for life that will inspire you and stay with you. By the end, you will have learned more than 50 powerful English words and expressions, and you will never forget them, because they will be tied to this unforgettable story. So get ready. Take notes, pause and repeat after me if you need to, and let us begin. To understand this story, we first need to understand the land where it happened. Mongolia. Mongolia is often called the land of the eternal blue sky. It is a country of vast, endless steppes, large flat areas of grassland without trees. Vocabulary: steppe, a flat grassy plain with no trees. Example: horses ran across the steppe. The steppe stretches as far as the eye can see. The wind blows hard. The summers are hot and dry. The winters are freezing and brutal. For thousands of years, Mongolians lived as nomads. Vocabulary: nomad. A person who does not stay in one place but moves from place to place. Example: nomads travel with their herds. They moved with their animals, horses, sheep, goats, camels, and yaks, searching for grass and water. They lived in round tents called gers, or yurts, made of felt and wood. These tents could be taken down and rebuilt quickly, so families could move whenever the seasons changed. Life was simple, but also harsh. If nature was kind, there was food. If nature was cruel, families starved. And because survival was difficult, Mongolian society valued strength, loyalty, and order. Rules were strict, respect for leaders was necessary, and when someone broke those rules, punishment was often severe. Vocabulary: severe. Very serious, very harsh. Example: the winter was severe and many animals died. This brings us to one of the most feared punishments in Mongolian history: the box. In today's world, when someone commits a crime, they go to court. There are lawyers, judges, evidence, and trials. But in Mongolia, especially in the 19th and early 20th centuries, justice was different. Often, punishment was decided not in a courtroom, but by local leaders, community elders, or powerful officials. And punishment was not just about making the criminal suffer, it was about teaching the entire community a lesson. For example, a thief could be beaten in public, a liar could be shamed and humiliated, a murderer could be executed in front of everyone. Vocabulary: thief, someone who steals; humiliate, to make someone feel ashamed in front of others; executed, killed officially as punishment. These punishments were public spectacles. Vocabulary: spectacle, something that is shown for everyone to see. Example: the parade was a spectacle of color. Everyone would watch, everyone would feel fear. Everyone would think, if I break the rules, this will happen to me. Fear was the goal. And among all punishments, one was whispered with dread: being locked in a wooden box with only your head and arms sticking out, left to die slowly. This was the punishment our woman faced. Let's look closely at the box itself. It was made of rough wood. It was about the size of a coffin, but even tighter. The prisoner could not stand. She could not lie down. She could only sit, her body folded painfully, her head and arms stuck out through small holes in the front. This way, people walking by could see her face. Her arms could reach for food or water, but only if someone gave it to her. Sometimes a small bowl of water was placed nearby. Sometimes a piece of bread. But often, nothing. The box was left in the open steppe. Under the burning sun, the prisoner would sweat and suffer. At night, the cold winds would cut into her skin. Days turned into nights, nights turned into days, and slowly, her body grew weaker and weaker. Vocabulary: coffin, the box used for burying dead people, folded, bent or pressed into a small space. Weaker, less strong, psychologically it was torture. Imagine the loneliness. Imagine watching people pass by but being unable to move. Imagine crying for help but no one listens. This was not a quick death. It was a slow death, a death of starvation, thirst and despair. Vocabulary: starvation, dying from not having food, despair, complete hopelessness. This is where our woman found herself. She was not a queen. She was not a warrior. She was simply a woman. Her name has been lost to history. Her crime is uncertain. Some say she was guilty of theft. Others say she was accused unfairly. We may never know the truth, but what we do know is this: she was sentenced to die in the box. Imagine her final days. At first, she may have believed she could survive. She may have begged for forgiveness. She may have cried for mercy. Her arms stretched out of the box, searching for help. Her eyes pleaded with strangers, "Please, please." But days passed. Her voice grew weak. Her body lost strength. She could hear the laughter of children in the distance. She could see the sky turning from blue to red to black. She could feel her life slowly slipping away. Vocabulary: begged, asked desperately, pleaded, jacha, asked in an emotional, urgent way. Slipping away equals slowly disappearing, usually referring to life. And then one day a traveler passed by. He was a photographer. He carried a camera, an object still new and rare in that time. He saw her suffering. He stopped. And he took a photograph. That photograph, the one you saw at the beginning, is the reason we know her story today. Her suffering was captured forever in an image. The photographer was shocked. He had never seen such cruelty. He took the photo, perhaps hoping the world would see it and understand the brutality of this punishment. And he succeeded, because more than a century later, we are still looking at that image. We are still asking questions. We are still feeling her pain. This nameless woman, who might have been forgotten, was remembered. Not because people saved her, but because a camera captured her final moments. So what do we learn from this story? First, we learn about cruelty. Humans are capable of terrible things. Second, we learn about resilience. Even trapped in a box, she lifted her arms, she reached out, she tried to live. Third, we learn about empathy. When we see her, we feel her pain. We realize how precious freedom is. Vocabulary: cruelty equals extreme unkindness. Resilience equals strength to recover and keep going in difficulty. Empathy equals the ability to understand and share someone else's feelings. And finally, we learn this: History is not just about kings, wars, or famous leaders. It is about ordinary people, like this woman, whose suffering must not be forgotten. Now let's review the vocabulary we learned in this story. Steppe nomad, severe thief. Humiliate, executed, spectacle, coffin folded. Weaker, starvation, despair. Begged, pleaded. Slipping away, cruelty, resilience. Empathy, practice sentences. Nomads travel across the steppe with their animals. The winter was so severe that many families suffered. The thief was caught and humiliated in public. She pleaded for help, but nobody listened. Even in despair, he showed resilience. Your challenge: choose 5 of these words and write your own sentences in the comments below. And so, my friends, we come to the end of this story. The woman in the box is gone. Her name is unknown. Her crime is uncertain. But her suffering is remembered. Her photograph remains a powerful reminder of what cruelty looks like. It is also a reminder of how precious freedom is. So the next time you feel trapped, by work, by school, by life, remember her. Remember that even in the darkest box, hope can still survive. Because while the body can be trapped, the human spirit can still cry out across time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for learning. And thank you for honoring her memory with me today. If you learned something new, if you felt something in your heart, please give this video a like, share it, and subscribe for more. Because here, we do not just learn English, we learn humanity, we learn empathy, we learn through stories. Until next time, take care, and never take your freedom for granted.